Did you know 3 types of Australian birds deliberately spread wildfires? Welcome to World Fact Finder. In this episode, we will discuss 50 mind-blowing, random, and utterly amazing facts you never knew. Part 2. Let's get started. Number 1. Snakes can burp fire. For this to happen, a decomposing animal a snake has eaten has to burst whilst being digested, releasing methane and hydrogen into the snake's stomach. All that's needed for the snake to fire up is a spark. Number 2. Soviet cosmonauts took shotguns to space with them. This wasn't to fight off any capitalist aliens they might encounter in space. It was for when they returned to Earth in case they landed in Siberia and had to fend off hungry bears. Number 3. Jackie Chan sang the theme songs for all his films in the 1980s. Nope, it's not a different Jackie Chan. It's the 2-part martial arts and 1-part comedy fellow y'all know and love. However, Jackie Chan is quite the singer as well as a fist slinger. In 1984, he won the Japanese Best Foreign Singer Award. He sung in over 5 languages on over 100 songs, and sang at the Beijing Summer Olympics opening ceremony in 2008. Number 4. You're more likely to get bitten by a person than a shark, especially in New York City, where the annual number of people-on-people bites is 10 times higher than the annual number of worldwide shark bites. Number 5. Bryan Cranston learned how to roller skate for an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. Bryan Cranston is one hell of a dedicated actor if you ask me. He spent literally hundreds of hours learning how to roller skate, like an absolute boss. All this is for his last dance in the episode where he teaches his son, Malcolm, how to skate. Number 6. Dogs can learn up to 250 words and gestures. The average intelligence of a dog is akin to that of a 2-year-old human child. Number 7. Fried chicken originated in Scotland. It was a Scottish tradition from the Middle Ages to deep-fried chicken. The Scots brought this dish over to the Americas with them when immigrating to the southern United States, where it became a staple of American cuisine. Number 8. Avocados never ripen on trees. Because of this, farmers often use avocado trees as a form of storage to keep their fruit fresh until they are ready to pick and sell it. Number 9. The slang term for dollars, bucks, originates from the early 1700s. It refers to deer skins from male deer, or bucks as they're commonly known. This is because, during these early times, deer skins were used as an informal currency. In fact, a diplomat in 1948 noted that $5 would buy you a cask of whiskey. Number 10. 40 million years ago, penguins were 6 feet tall. This was discovered from bones found at Seymour Island dating back to 37 to 40 million years ago. These gigantic penguins would have weighed up to 250 pounds. Number 11. Beer was classified as a soft drink in Russian until 2011. Before 2011, anything with less than 10% alcohol was classified legally as a soft drink. Number 12. 25% of all mammal species on Earth are bats. There are a whopping 1,200 different types of bats. They range in size from a bumblebee bat, the world's smallest mammal, all the way up to the giant golden-crowned flying bat, which has a huge wingspan of almost 6 feet. Number 13. Jellyfish are 95% water. Not surprising, given that they have no brain, no blood, and no heart. The other 5% is made up of what little solid mass jellyfish possess. Number 14. Fortune cookies are an American invention. They were invented by Makoto Hagiwara of San Francisco in the 1890s and sold at the Golden Gate Park's Japanese tea garden. Number 15. When Nintendo was formed, there were only 38 U.S. states in the Union. The company that would go on to bring us Super Mario and Pokémon was formed in September 1889. By the end of that year, there were 42 U.S. states in the Union. Number 16. On statues, a horse's legs tell you how the statue figure died. If a horse has both its front legs in the air, then the person died in battle. If the horse has one of its front legs in the air, they died of wounds received from a battle. And if the horse has both its front legs on the ground, then the person died of natural causes. Number 17. Japan has a roaming deer infestation. Because of this, the Japanese government has set up the National Wolf Association, which is focused on reintroducing wolves to Japan to help reduce the amount of wild deer. Number 18. The pH scale was invented by the Carlsberg Brewery. It was the brainchild of one Søren Sørensen, who invented it in 1909 while researching the best proteins, amino acids, and enzymes in the Carlsberg Brewery laboratory. Number 19. Most perfume is made from sperm whale puke. Known as ambergris, this waxy secretion belched out by sperm whales is a core component to making any perfumes due to its pleasant smell and is often found floating in tropical seas. Number 20. In the Californian White Mountains, there are trees older than history. These wise old trees, known as Pinus longeva, have been aged up to 5,060+ years old. Written history is believed to have begun roughly 5,000 years ago. Back then, these magnificent trees would have just been starting out their long lives. Number 21. Mountain Dew was originally a slang term for moonshine. Used as a bit of slang for mountain-brewed moonshine, the hella sugary drink we know and suffer through today was originally marketed as a whiskey chaser. Number 22. There is a black market for illegal skin trade. Nowadays, there's a black market for almost anything. This one is particularly grim, though. In India, women from poor backgrounds are being trafficked and duped into selling their skin for use in the global cosmetic surgery world for operations like penis enlargements and breast enhancements. Number 23. Roughly half a human body is red blood cells. We have roughly 50 to 75 trillion cells in our bodies, and almost half of those are red blood cells. It takes one of these little red blood cells just 20 seconds to travel around our entire body. Number 24. Drinking 10 gallons of carrot juice is fatal. That is because the vitamin A content of that much juice is high enough to make your brain swell and kill you, along with a load of nasty other symptoms. You can also overdose on vitamin A by eating 1 pound of polar bear liver. Number 25. The movement of falling cats is used as part of an astronaut's training. The way cats try to correct themselves when falling was studied and analyzed by NASA scientists. They then used their findings as a means to teach falling astronauts how to correct their movements in zero gravity. Number 26. We have a house fire to thank for The Sims. Will White, the creator of the iconic gaming franchise, suffered a tragic house fire in 1991, where he lost everything to the flames. After that, he had a vision of rebuilding his house, which led him to think of a game where one would create a virtual dollhouse. And from that, The Sims was born. Number 27. 3 types of Australian birds deliberately spread wildfires. Why would they do that? Well, it's Australia. What did you expect? Black kites, whistling kites, and brown falcons all purposefully aid the spread of wildfires by picking up and dropping flaming sticks just so the fire will flush out their prey and make it easier for them to catch. Number 28. An Italian punk band once ate spaghetti on stage instead of playing any songs. In 1979, At the height of punk, Italian comedy punk band Schiantos wheeled a kitchen, a table, a TV, and a fridge onto their set stage, boiled up some spaghetti, and then sat there eating it. Unsurprisingly, the audience was less than pleased at the gig. Number 29. Woodpeckers eat brains when they get too hungry. Nope, not zombie woodpeckers, just normal woodpeckers. If they've gone too long without food, they will pin down other birds and peck at the back of their heads until they crack through their skulls and then eat their brains. Freaky. Number 30. Italy has 34 native languages in use today. Surprisingly, most of these different languages are not, in fact, dialects of Italian. Instead, they evolved independently from Common Latin. Number 31. Amsterdam's Royal Palace sits on 13,659 wooden poles. Because of the thick layer of fen and clay present in Dutch soil, all the buildings in the Netherlands are built on wooden poles. These wooden poles are fixed into a sandy layer over 35 feet below ground level. Number 32. There is a gargoyle with Darth Vader's head on it on the Washington Cathedral. It was placed there after a child's Design a Carving competition was held in the 80s to decide what character should adorn the cathedral. Number 33. Dolph Lundgren has an IQ of 160. That's right. The "if he dies" meme fellow from Rocky IV is actually a super genius. He has a master's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Sydney and the Royal Institute of Technology, alongside a Fulbright scholarship to MIT. Oh, he was also the European champion of karate in 1981. Number 34. Two stealth nuclear submarines once bumped into each other by accident. In 2009, in the Atlantic Ocean, two stealth-cloaked nuclear submarines, one from France and one from Britain, bumped into each other out of sheer coincidence. They were both cloaked so well from each other that neither submarine could detect the other, even when they were only a couple of feet apart. Number 35. The Hawaiian flag purposefully looks like a combination of the British and American flags. This is because it was designed by then-King Kamehameha I in 1812, and he wanted a flag that would appeal to both the Americans and the British. Number 36. NASA's internet speed is 91 gigabytes per second. This means on NASA's internet, you could download a high-quality 1080p movie in mere milliseconds. Normal household internet speeds are roughly 25 megabytes per second, which is dwarfed by NASA's hugely superior internet speeds. Number 37. For their first month of living, babies only see in black and white. They also only see silhouettes and are unable to focus on items just after their birth. This is because their retinal nerve cells aren't fully established yet, and they lack the capability to process visual information. Number 38. In 1783, a volcanic eruption killed 80% of the Earth's sheep. The Laki volcanic fissure in the south of Iceland erupted over an 8-month period back in 1783, releasing some straight-up nasty hydrogen fluoride into the atmosphere to shower down on the Earth's inhabitants. Because of this, roughly 25% of the world's human population was wiped out. However, that pales compared to the 80% of the world's sheep population that died as a result. Number 39. Malta has never experienced weather below freezing point. Malta is quite the popular tourist trap in summer, and with good reason. It has never experienced temperatures below freezing point, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is the only European country to own this claim. Number 40. The Pentagon has its own private island off New York. It's used to run war games for the possibility of a massive cyber attack and resulting massive loss of power. It's completely forbidden for anyone to go there. Number 41. Cheetahs love Calvin Klein. Wildlife crews trying to film these skittish big cats tried testing a range of scents of their cameras and equipment in order to draw cheetahs in closer for filming. Of all the scents they tried, Calvin Klein's Obsession for Men proved to be the one the cheetahs loved the most. Number 42. There's a Big Mac museum in Pennsylvania. It was opened by McDonald's in 2007 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Big Mac and features exhibits such as a 14-foot-tall Big Mac. Number 43. The U.S. has more millionaires than Sweden has people. There are over 10 million millionaires in the U.S., whilst Sweden has a population of less than 10 million people. Number 44. The letter A doesn't appear in a written number until you reach 1,000. Well, that's if you don't count the "and" in numbers like 420, for example. Also, the letter M also doesn't appear until you reach 1 million. Number 45. Sombrero is just a generic Spanish word for hat. Rather than describing the iconic hat of the stereotypical Mexicans, the word is literally just a word used for any hat. The word sombrero is derived from the word sombra, meaning shade. Number 46. Ireland's population still hasn't recovered from the Great Potato Famine in 1845. The population of Ireland prior to the devastating famine was roughly between 8.5 million and 9 million people. Modern-day Ireland's population is estimated at roughly 4.85 million people. Number 47. Camels don't actually store water in their humps. It's one of those age-old myths that you hear as a kid and take as fact. But it's not true, I'm afraid. Their lovely camel humps are actually used to store fat. But amazingly, that's not the only reason. Check out these other reasons why camels have humps. Number 48. A man once tripped over his beard during a fire evacuation and died. Then Mayor of Braunau am Inn back in 1567, Hans Steininger was the proud owner of the world's longest beard, at the time, with a 4-foot hairy wonder. When he was caught up in a fire evacuation drill, on his way out of the flaming building, Hans's beard got tangled around his feet and caused him to trip and fall down a flight of stairs, breaking his neck and killing him. Number 49. Psycho, 1960, was the first film to ever show a toilet flushing. Alfred Hitchcock is practically a household name when it comes to films, especially horrors. His 1960 horror flick Psycho captivated audiences and is one of the go-tos when people talk about the invention of the slasher genre. It was, for certain, a film of firsts. And one of those firsts just so happened to be the first time a toilet was seen flushing on the big screen. Number 50. The world's largest singular snowflake was 15 inches wide. Most snowflakes are minuscule, delicate, microscopic things. But this monster snowflake fell during a particularly bad snowstorm over Montana in 1887 and was the size of your average frisbee. Thanks for watching. Like and comment if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss the next interesting facts. See you in our next video.